Hey everybody, I'm Mark Manley with Weeks Auction Group, and today I'm here with Mr. Gary Cromer with Wells Grain and Peanut out of Ellaville. And Mr. Gary chose Weeks Auction Group to sell his business. And I want him to tell you a little bit about why he made those decisions, but I want to start out by, Mr. Gary, tell us a little bit about Wells Grain and Peanut.
Wells Grain and Peanut Company was founded in 1980, and I purchased it in 1996, so we actually been running it 25 years. And sort of reached a turning point age-wise. I'm 73, and just different things going on in the peanut world. We just decided maybe it's a good time for us to get out. And probably picked the wrong time of the year to sort of get out, so we started looking for ways to sell the business. And one of my close business consultants or advisors, we were discussing different ways, and one of the ways was trying to sell it all ourselves. And then we got to thinking about auction, and somewhere along the way somebody recommended Weeks. And when I first met with them, first thing I liked was the people. And then we reached a point that we felt like they were very trustworthy. So we just sort of sat down and tried to come up with what they thought would be a good plan. And we realized they were professionals at it. And the way they put it together, videos, pictures, and then when they advertised it, they had put all that together and reached so many people that we wouldn't have doing it on our own. And they just did a fantastic job with it. We just got through finishing the auction, and it was professional all the way through, and we tickled death with it.
Awesome. Well, it was a fun auction to do for us. I know when we first started talking, you had some concerns about an online auction, and would that be better than an on-site auction? And we met and we talked about those things, but what was the turning point to make you think that an online, or get you to agree that an online auction would be better? And now that we're done with the auction, what do you think about the online process?
Well, you know, the only auctions I was familiar with previously were live on-site auctions. And as it turned out, you can't beat the online auction. The first thing to think about, what if it's a rainy day? You want to have a live auction. You eliminate people. And but doing it online, I think it brings in a lot more people that'll bid than if you have it live and they got to drive 200 miles to make a bid. And the way it sort of worked out, we had, with the outreach they had, we had just lots of people coming looking and all the equipment and all. And then on bid day online, they'll get on there and bid. We found out. And I think it's better than the live auction, and worked out great.
Well, we think so too. And to further expound on the way we did this auction a little bit, we actually sold the real estate on Wells Grain and Peanut in 5 parcels, and we did that 2 weeks before we sold the equipment. We were a little bit unsure when we started the process as to what the results would be, not because we weren't sure of the product we had to sell or the piece of real estate we had to sell, but Wells Grain and Peanut was located on the north end of what's typically considered peanut growing area. And true to form, it's actually not going to continue to be a peanut buying point. But we offered the real estate in 5 parcels. We achieved a bid that was acceptable to Mr. Gary. I think he's very pleased with that. We sold it in multiple parcels. And then 2 weeks after that, we sold the equipment. And as Mr. Gary said, there were people that drove and inspected the equipment. They made their list. And during the auction, we actually have bidders from, I think, every state joining Georgia except Tennessee. We've got major buyers out of South Carolina. We've got major buyers out of Florida, major buyers out of Alabama. And it just made it so much easier for those people to buy and you know, actually compete and bid against each other. Mr. Gary, kind of to wrap it up, if you were talking to someone that was considering selling their business, what would you tell them if they were maybe considering an auction?
Well, what it does, it brings in a lot more players to buy, I think, through the auction, because their outreach is a lot further than doing it yourselves. And, we were just looking at who's close by we may sell to. And the outreach of the advertising probably reached a lot further than just the southeastern states. But we had buyers throughout the peanut belt. And so I think it worked out terrific. Brought in a lot more players, and I think it definitely worked out better if we'd just sold it on our own.
Yeah, one thing that we were talking about with Mr. Gary on auction day was that the price that he achieved for his business actually exceeded the price that he was willing to sell it for when it was just going as an individual lump sum purchase of the business. So would you say overall you were satisfied?
Yes, and one thing that we wouldn't have thought about doing was splitting the real estate up into different parcels. And what that did, we had some brought actually more than we thought, which offset the parcels that didn't bring as much. And then the total worked out to be fine. And the equipment part, couldn't ask for it to go any better. The outreach and the people they draw and doing it online, I think is a terrific way to go.
Awesome. Mr. Gary, thank you. It has been a pleasure working with you to sell Wells Grain and Peanut. Congratulations on your retirement. I think one thing that you told us you were looking forward to spending time with your grandkids.
That's right, yeah.
Well, folks, that's it. If you're considering selling your business, and a lot of you are these days, give us a call for a no obligation consultation. Weeks Auction Group, www.weeksauctiongroup.com. I'm Mark Manley. Thank you.